Okay, guys, well, we're back, and we've played around with text in a few different ways utilizing the type tool, and we need to go ahead and now talk about type on a path and area type tool. So let's do type on a path first. So I'm going to actually just pull this tear off out so that way I can access these really easily. And to do type on a path, I'm going to tap the letter D, so I have default white as my fill and then black as my stroke, and I'm going to turn my fill off. And I need a path, okay? And I'm going to make a few paths. So I'm going to make I'm not going to use a line segment because we could just rotate point text, but I'll make a path utilizing the paintbrush tool. And then I'm going to make a path using the pencil tool. And then I will make a path utilizing the pen tool. And we'll make a couple other ones afterwards as well. So I have three paths here. So type on a path kind of goes like this. I'm going to click on the tool, and I'm going to come over here to my character palette, and I don't know, I don't really want mirrored, so I'm going to go ahead and type in something like Avenir Roman. That's cool. 12 points, a little small too, so I'm going to pop that up maybe to like 18. And check this out. I'm literally going to go ahead and I'm going to click right here, and this is an example of type on a path. Oop, path. Boop, boop, boop. As you can see, it follows the line. So what we can do when we click off of it, the line disappears, and we just see this line of text, and it's really smooth, and it's very organic, and we can use this all sorts of different ways. You see it all the time in advertising. You see it in illustration. You don't really see it in logos or anything like that, but it does have a place working with type. So now I'm going to do it over here on the pencil. Type on a path. Again, it really works. And yeah, I'm cheesy when I type this stuff out. I realize that. Now, okay, so type on a path again. It really works. And last but not least, let's go ahead and let's do it here. Now, this is interesting. Where is this going to go? Is this going to go on the outside or the inside of the path? Well, let's click and see. This is floating on the outside of the path. Can it go inside? So this is floating on the outside of the path. Can it go inside? The quick answer is yes. It can go inside the path always. In fact, you always end up on what I consider the outside of the path. If we were, and how that's really defined is where we're enclosing space. So if I go ahead and click on this, I'm going to point out a couple things. Actually, I'm going to do it over here first, and I'm going to make my type size a little smaller. How about 14? Okay. Now let's zoom in so we can see what we got here, and I'm going to select this. Now you'll notice that right here we have a line, and right here we have a line, and then we also have another one in the middle. Now, what this first line does at the front of the sentence is I can click it and I can move it forward. And essentially what that is, guys, is basically that's where I started my point text. I'm just moving down the path. See, it's like I'm taking the cars down the roller coaster, and I'm just moving down the path here, and I am essentially saying that's the new start point. This thing here signifies the end point, and I can move it back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, and essentially it's not going to change much of anything unless I go ahead and I move it and it goes on top of text. Now when I did that, you see this little red box show up, and that red box is a little square with a plus sign in it, and that is the universal symbol that there's more text hiding here. So you see that in all Adobe softwares usually when there is a text box of sorts, or in this case, a path of text, and we're just not seeing it all. So again, if I pull that back to where we were, and I pull the first one back to where we were, actually, no, I take that back. I can't really move it. I can only move it forward. I can't move it back unless I take the first one, I move it back. So so that just basically says where the endpoint's going to be. And I can show you an example where that could actually be useful in due time. Now, this middle line right here, right? What this will do is this will actually flip the text. So now this is the front and this is the back. And here we have our text and it's flipped. And we can grab this, and actually I should say that we can move it up and down the line with this, but this allows us to flip the text and then start to move up and down the line. Now, when I move up and down the line with this, if I get to the point where I run into the end of the text, it starts giving me that little square with the plus sign in it. So I need to just be aware of that, so then that way I don't like run out of my text. So, or run my text off the line. I can always push this forward over here, and that'll happen, a little bit less. Now, when I did that, wow, check this out. I don't have a lot to move because it can only move as far as this last line is. So we don't need it way past the text. We don't need it over the text. We need it just kind of near the text. How about like that? Gives enough space, right? Maybe a little closer. And that way we can move up and down here. And then we can also flip just like that. This concept works especially well. And see, we can just grab these things and flip them whenever we want. This works especially well when you're working with arcs. And you guys have seen something like this, I bet, before. A seal of sorts, right? Where we have a circle. And around the circle, we have some text. So this, looks like my battery's running low. That's okay, we'll finish up. This is an example of type on a path around a circular shape. We're creating a seal. Okay, so I'm going to increase my font size a little bit so we see it a little bit better. And there you go. You've seen something like this before. I know you have. It's a common thing, right? Now, you see them two ways. And that way is you see them where the text is literally on the outside like this, or sometimes you see them where the text is floating on the inside and it's like almost backwards and it's kind of tough to read sometimes. So you can really kind of go any way you want. I just want to point out this one thing, that on the outside I had this at 30-point text, and I increased the tracking to 60 points, right? And that worked out fine. And it made it all the way around, right? But if I went ahead and I dragged this on the inside, right, which I can do right here, check it out. I got the little red box with the plus sign in it, which means that I ran out of text, I ran out of space for my text, and that's because we are now on the inside of the shapes, which is smaller, okay? So just make sure you're aware of that. But yeah, we can go ahead and we can move this around really easy, and essentially we can create seals, so like for logos or something along those lines. You've seen them before, and they're not hard to make at all utilizing Adobe Illustrator. Okay, well, I'm gonna get some power for my actually wait 1 second, one more example. So text on a path. If you have a hard edge angle like this, okay, this is not going to be successful. So let's start our path here. This is an example of unsuccessful type on a path. Don't do this. So as you can see, this is a sharp corner. And what it did is it just stopped typing, or actually I shouldn't say it stopped typing, it just jumped from this C to this C. And it's the only thing the software could have done. The software was just trying to make the best that it could out of this. But here's the thing. In the organic line, and even in that round circle, people can usually read that text. It's usually legible enough. But when you go ahead and you put it on this hard edge corner right here, that like really, tight angle, that makes it really hard to read. Okay, I understand. Then what about if we do it on not such a tight angle? Let's do it on a 90 degree, like right here on a square, right? Let's try that. See if it works any better. This is another example of unsuccessful type on a path. You really want to stay away from shapes with hard corners. So, yet another one. Okay, this is a 90-degree corner. So, and we can see right here that we're running into a very similar problem, right? It worked in the other corner, okay? And you know why it worked in the other corner? Luck. That's the only reason why it did. And if you think about it, right, have we ever seen anything like this in like advertising or design or anything like that? The answer is yes, we have. But it's still hard to read. So please don't do this to your viewer. Don't do this to yourself, okay? And last but not least, I don't know why, but some people like the line, right? And when I type on the path, oh no, my line disappeared. Yes, when you use type on a path, the line below it is going to disappear. That's just what it does. So if you want the line back, then all I can recommend to you is this. Utilize layers or simply copy and paste. So let's make the line. Okay. I am going to select the line, and I'm going to say edit and copy. And then I'm going to click on type on a path and say, here's my type on a path. ... Let's hope it works. Okay, I click off of it and it's gone. Well, remember, I copied it. So I'm going to say edit and paste in place, which is going to drop it exactly where I left it. Cool. So how does it look? Well, there's your line. That's kind of hard to read, right? A line like that. So, and this is why usually I'm not in this school of thought. So I'm going to just change the color of it very quickly. Over here in my swatches. And then I'm going to select it, and I'm going to go ahead and just move it maybe a little bit underneath it, like that. Oh, okay. And now when you see that way, you're like, I have seen that before. And it's not that unsuccessful. In fact, people do it all the time. It's just something you can do. Another example, another way to do it is simply this. Use 2 layers. On layer 1, I'll just call that line layer. Okay? And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to duplicate that by just grabbing that layer and dragging it right down onto that new layer line. And I'm going to call text on path layer. Bam. I'm going to just lock the line layer. I'm going to go ahead and use my type on a path tool. Make sure I'm on that right thing. And I'm going to click. And here's the example. And wait, I'm going to go ahead and now unlock this layer. I'm going to select this and I'm going to move it down. And there, that's how you can get type on a path and keep your line using the layers. Okay, when we come back, we're going to take a look at area type. Thank you.